Welcome to Christ Truth Reveal podcast. This is a live show entitled Christ's Spiritual Meaning of Life. And we have open call-in and Q&A for anybody that comes in and wants to talk. And our starter title is Ask, Seek, Knock for Truth Reveal. And what goes around comes around. And it's hosted by Celeste and the Lion, and I am the Lion. And we also have Giraffe Heart. May call in, but usually hangs out in the chat.
Here we go.
Yep. So we're just doing a spontaneous live show. We're going to maybe do that a little more now, a little more time on hands.
Yeah, time permitting.
Yeah.
It's important enough if we're getting the response to this that we believe we are, which is not indicated by any other metrics that would be publicly seen,
Right.
because you have to go within to know.
Yes.
Then we want to keep putting this out there because the message is resonating. There's vibration, that energetic vibration that is being met by the truth that we're speaking into the lives of so many.
Yeah.
The gate is wide open. The gate was narrow, not anymore.
Nope. Lots of answers are coming to generations of questions of the meaning of life and things like that. And so we just come on here and talk about the truth of Christ and that the kingdom is within, and that that's where all understanding, truth, and guidance is actually accessed. We're humanly conditioned to seek it from educated people or people that are published in books and things like that. And then we're missing ourselves. We're missing that connection to God within ourselves and the true meaning of life. Each individual's purpose. It's not necessarily what person in front of the room of a group of people is saying is your purpose or is the purpose. And actually, to be honest, in most cases, they aren't telling the truth, really, because they aren't telling that Christ is within the kingdom and the kingdom is within.
Right on. Yeah, so many people, like you said, it's a conditioning thing. We talk a lot about retraining. We give various examples of our own personal retraining into Christ consciousness, and we offer people help with their own retraining if they're interested. But until you ask, is this true for my eternal soul? You're never really going to get the response. You're never going to have the confirmation that's available, that infinite wisdom, connection to the eternal truth of where your soul's journey is taking you can all be revealed.
And I can say with all confidence that in the true meaning of life, it is the eternal life, the eternal soul life. And anybody that's a biblical, knows the Bible or has read the Bible, you'll know that it talks about the soul in the Bible many times. And the soul is the creation of God so that God can experience. And the fun part about it is that we as individuals get to be that evolving soul. It evolves through us and it fills the lamp through beating up olives, which means through having tough lives. And honestly, life is not one and done, it's eternal. And we have Giraffe Heart that called in. Do you have something you'd like to say?
No, not yet.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We do ask people to call in if you want to join the conversation. If you have any questions, it doesn't matter pro, con, whatever. Just share your perspective. That's fine. And this is just a spontaneous show where we don't have any real plans of anything. We just come on here and discuss whatever comes up. And so anybody that has the Podbean app on a smartphone is able to call in and interact
It's
with
easy.
us.
It's
Yes,
easy.
it's very easy.
And
So
we're having a fun topic too. I like the topic, talking about chakras and energy and all that.
well, that wasn't actually on the discussion line, but yeah, we do talk about that.
Oh, sorry about that. Catch me up then because I came in late.
You just gotta click on the about button.
Yeah.
It gives you
Sorry.
today's topic. But that's always a good. It's always a good topic because
Well, no
um,
mistake. Yeah.
people,
No
yeah,
mistake.
people really don't. People, I want to say this right and not sound judgmental, but in traditional Christian teaching, maybe many folks would think about meditation and chakras as a Eastern religion idea, regardless of how often it's mentioned in the Bible.
Yep.
And um, you know, we have opportunities to bridge cultures when we realize that in the beginning God created, and God created everything.
Everything.
Everything. Let's
And
say it one more
for
time. Let's say it one more time. Everything.
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 We can't emphasize that enough because there's no good,
And
bad, right, wrong. And he
and
created
why
for God's
pleasure.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. It's hard to look at this world and believe that God created it for pleasure, right? But if you can just step into the experience of unconditional love that God is, then you can experience this world, this life that you're in, everything with pleasure. You can really see the pleasure. Even if you're frustrated, and you won't not be, you'll still get frustrated. You'll still maybe get angry, but you'll do it with pleasure. You can do it from pleasure, or at least afterward. But
Well,
go
and
ahead.
the other piece before you go to get back in, I just wanted to say in the beginning God created everything. You guys missed your cue, but that's okay. God created everything, and it was created all at once, and it was finished. And
All at
that's
once.
another kind of omnipotence of God that is hard for people to wrap their heads around. That everything was
Yes.
already ordered, every step was already taken, our lives are finished. We're just catching up to the reality of our futures every day, and none of it happens by mistake. And that's why we say, there's joy in knowing that. There's joy in acceptance. There's perfect love in acceptance.
Yes.
We get our egos involved and we don't have these chakras cleared, so it's difficult for us to lean into those truths and speak those truths to the powers that be. And I'm speaking from personal experience, just that
Mhm.
sometimes we don't lean into it. Sometimes we're having the experience that was perfectly ordered by God, of God, for God. That's why we can speak to it and sometimes laugh about it. Other
Yeah.
times not so much.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes.
But yeah, it's beautiful. Oh, it's always beautiful in retrospect, I think.
And that's it.
Maybe
Retrospect.
maybe it's beauty in the order, not necessarily beautiful like, ooh, that was fun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. 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 When it's all done too, and sometimes you just realize what you actually got out of it, what that process actually was about. And then when you learn the eternal soul process, then um, you can be satisfied with it, even though you might not be completely okay with it. You can be
Satisfied's a
satisfied.
better, yeah, that's a better turn of
Yeah,
phrase for sure.
yeah. Because I'm not always okay with things. Because sometimes, my ego says, "Well, I want to do it this way," you know. And I found though to quit doing that because that's just banging my head against the wall, and I'm tired of having bumps on my head. The proper question is the proper question is no question, really. But really, the proper question is, God, show me the truth. Show me the meaning
Mm.
of my life. What does my life mean? I want wisdom, understanding, and insight.
Yeah, that
Um,
answer rings all the bells.
yeah. Pick up the
Could
Bible
this
where it
be
says,
true for me? Could this be true for my eternal soul? God,
yes,
reveal to me
exactly.
the truth of how that affects my life. Those kinds of
Yes.
hey,
questions.
hey, you
Yeah.
guys. So going back to what you were talking about, everything was created pleasure. ascension and all of that stuff, people just don't know the joy that it gives you to just be a part of that awareness.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Allows
Yeah.
you to be
And
spontaneous and synchronized with all that is, all the flow of God's perfect universe.
the outcome is growth of the soul, and the soul to come to full realization within our body, to where we can realize the kingdom is within and go and get all the answers that we desire. And even things get meanings and understandings of things we don't even ask for. It's just there. It's just pondering within, and realizing that when you're pondering with God, you're pondering with love.
And doesn't that give you great pleasure?
Oh yes. Well, I sit here on the couch with nothing going on. I'm just pondering, just
It's
pondering.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yes.
It's a great way to be connected to the source, to the true connection that everyone yearns and longs for.
Yep.
I paint while I do that.
Yeah, that's good inspiration. Yep.
In the
And then
beginning, God created.
and then over
So if
time,
you're in the act of creation, you are
that's
one
right.
with God.
Creating. Yes. You are creating,
Marielle
especially when
plays,
you're consciously doing it like that.
especially when you're playing with Marielle.
Yeah. Marielle is fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that brings up a good point of Christ's spiritual meaning of life. In the Bible, it's represented as for those that overcome, you'd be given a white stone with a new name on it, and that new name will only be known to the person that asks or overcomes. What, it's kind of talking about when you overcome your ego life and realize that the only thing that really exists is a spiritual life. We have a eternal soul, and our eternal soul has a name, and nobody knows that name but me, and for each of us. I got that name. I was given that name. And Celeste, we call him Celeste because he was given that name, and that is his name. And Giraffe Heart is talking about Marielle because that is our name. We share the same soul name.
Hey, just a quick reminder to anyone that's listening on the board. There's a request for support. That is an artifact of the Podbean platform. It's not from us. We're not in this for any Podbean little trinkets or whatever it is that they try to get you to buy. So don't need to do that. You can ignore it. The only gift we really love is your participation on the show. So that's why we have open call-in.
And just to stress what Celeste just said, ignore any asking for donations, gifts, share, to follow, anything like that. We don't care about that kind of thing.
We do this because it lifts us up.
Yeah,
It lifts
that's what
me
Celeste
up
said.
to just be able to just sit here and talk like this, and to be
Yeah.
able to share gives us pleasure. That's why we do it, not for monetary or material gains or to become public figures or whatever.
Yeah.
To
No,
share.
no, no. Just to share anonymously, just to share the good news, share what is called basically the gospel. Tell everybody that you are worthy, that there is not one person, that, like the song, "What if God was one of us?" Well, I'm here to tell you that God is all of us. All of us. God is within all of us and in control of all of us, no matter what we might think unconsciously. It's right there in the kingdom within. All one has to do is go within and ask, seek, knock. Truth is revealed.
Yeah, and we will refer back to previous episodes not as a way to increase the clicks or the follow or anything like that. Just because there's information there that's relevant to our topic, and we put a lot of content out there in the last whatever 18 months. So there's not a lot that we say each episode that's new. Maybe we talk about new applications or new ways that the perfect provision has been received. I always like talking about that. We could talk a little bit about the crystal, how that
That's,
how that happened, and
yeah, I was just
yeah,
thinking of that. Thank you. Well, go
that'd be
ahead.
cool.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, I don't know what the genesis was for you to send it to me or to purchase me when I think we were talking about the chakras and retuning the
Yeah.
chakras and how your chakras were kind of jacked up.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, it was just like, get one to you, you know, because actually, recently, so I've known for quite a while, it was revealed to me that we have chakras in our bodies, and I call them hollow emitters because this basically, the physical stuff is basically illusion. It's God dreaming, is the kind of the way I put it. But Giraffe Heart and I together, kind of many years ago now, were had the realization of chakras brought to us, and then how they really actually work and the importance of them. And I'm a biblical person. I read the Bible, and I've been immersed in the Bible for 30 some years, and it was revealed to me that the 12 disciples are metaphor, actually, also of the 12 main body chakras, but there are 24 in and around the body, and three more above it. So anyway, you take a crystal pendulum, just a little crystal pendulum, and you go over the spots where they are, and the
Wait,
pendulum will spin. And
just real quick. The chakra is an energy center. Okay, that's it.
yeah, center, an energy emitter, an energy center. Anyway, that's one way to open your mind, to get to say, wow, you just take it and you put it over. You can find, you can find the main seven usually just by Googling or whatever you want to do. And you take that crystal and you hold it just a few inches above, and it'll start to spin. It really will. And the top of the head is really a good one to do on somebody else. It'll spin because there's energy there. And then you put it on the forehead and it'll spin the other way. And that's my observation experience, is that each one will spin the opposite way of the last one. But recently I was playing with it and I found 24 that were around and in the body, and three above it. And it's very cool. It works. And then so I wanted Celeste to experience that also. So I had a crystal sent to him. And then, so I'm not sure how far you've gotten with that, but I know though that something else came up from that, but that'll kind of just stay away from though.
Yeah, I haven't really made the effort to do the chakra tuning yet. I'm still a little bit of due diligence. I like to watch some YouTube videos and see what other people are doing as far as the best practice, and you know,
Yeah.
try to confirm that what I'm seeing. I get it, right? People are inclined to feel like crystals and Reiki and spirituality or religion are all kind of nuts and granola anyway, right?
Yeah.
And for those people, right, they're not the ones being called, so we're not so concerned about that. They'll get another shot as their souls evolve. They'll be able to see some progression in terms of their own mindfulness of the realities that are beyond this earthly body. So yeah, it's good. They're not doing anything bad or wrong, but
No.
crystals, right? Everything's made up of an atom, and atoms are purely vibrational. They have charges, and so yeah, it's pretty hard to deny the universal vibration that is in with all of us. So
Yeah.
coming into alignment with it is a good thing, and it's retraining. All of it, it's retraining.
And it's a tool. It's another tool.
Right. It's a tool, and they can amplify, help amplify, and clarify.
Yeah.
Amplify the vibrations, that kind of thing. It gives you a visual. There's many, many different techniques that you can use, but at the end of the day, does it resonate with you? Do you feel
Yeah.
it? Do
And
you
I
see
that's
think,
it?
well,
what are these nuts talking about?
nuts and granola.
That's right. Well, that's the thing is, we don't, as we'll say many times, is don't believe anything that anybody says, including, of course, us. We just share the things that we learn and just tell people how to find that truth for themselves. And don't go to other people. Don't believe other people. If something sparks something in you of curiosity, go within yourself and prove it to yourself. That's the only way you can find the truth. The only way. Other people can be teachers and tools and things like that. And like we're talking about little crystals to show you that you really do have energy centers in you. And I mean, it was brought out because I was feeling whacked out for a couple of weeks. And we found out that mine were all whacked out and weak.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just with intent, I balanced out right away. It was just like just with intent. Well, anyway, that's just part of it. And again, it's just the only certain mind is a closed mind. So I just say, open your mind. Don't believe what anybody says, but don't just discount things. Unless you do, of course. It's up to every individual to do that. But you know, somebody says something and you can't prove it either way right then or whatever, ask, seek, knock.
that's
And
right.
what goes around comes around. When you ask, it's going to come around. I had my major asking at one point, and it took 3 years for me to get that answer for the answers to start coming. And then I started to seek and I started to knock, and then it was boom. And because it came to me in a very powerful supernatural way, and so I couldn't deny. So I think that can happen for anybody, but everybody's different. We all have our different cues and experiences. But kind of like, most people that I know have experienced an experience of hell in this lifetime, let alone others. What do I mean by that? Life is eternal. We are eternal souls. Do not judge the eternal soul by the cover of this body. This body will shed off, but your soul remains. It lives forever. It lives forever. It doesn't just come into an incarnation in one body and then either get to go to heaven or hell. It, only humans could believe that. As with all due respect to humans, but to think that it's only one and done is a lie from the ego, and it's an important lie. It's important to believe in that separation. But if you've been feeling a call, if you've been feeling like there's more to it, whether you're sitting in a church in a pew and you're hearing what's being said and you're thinking to yourself, God, there's more to it than that. Seek it within yourself. Seek it within yourself. Eternal life. There is nobody going to hell. That's the good news. Nobody's going to spend eternity in hell. It doesn't say that. Do not believe anybody that tells you that. And then, as Celeste said earlier, uh, everything is happening now. When God created everything, God is Alpha and Omega, no time or space. When God created it, to God, it was done. But it's eternal and it's infinite. So it really is never done. But to God it is. So let that bake your noodle. But ask about that. Ask that. That the highest things to ask for. It's not like, should I do this? Should I do that necessarily? Sometimes those kind of things are okay, but it's like, what is the meaning of my life? Ask that and seek that with all of your passion, and you'll get that understanding. There's a lot of people getting that understanding these days. I think one thing that's getting missed, though, is that these bodies that we live in are created perfectly to die or live. They can live forever. Jesus showed us that. You can be nailed to a cross. You can have your side cut open. You can be thrown in a tomb. And in 3.5 days, you can resurrect and then ascend and then become enveloping light. The key to that, though, is that the reason Jesus did that in his body and showed us that it was the body that has to do it is because he has his brain and his heart. If you die and you lose your brain and your heart, then you just are energy. You don't have the pictures, you don't have the emotions, at least not as you grow.
Tee it up again later this week. I mean, our hope is to be able to do this on a weekday, a little bit earlier in the day, so we can capture some more of the other time zones, as we're both Pacific time zones. So
Yeah.
it's not a sweet spot to podcast for us on Sundays at 7 p.m. We're losing, or 8 p.m. We're losing a lot of people who might want to be hearing what we have to share.
All right, then.
But it's been fun. Yeah.
We're going to be more spontaneous now. We're going to be maybe trying to do more earlier in the day, kind of like today. So if anybody's interested in joining in and anybody wants to call in, during those times, just keep an eye out.
You might also mention the email address. If we always welcome offline conversations as well. We've talked about offering resources, helping people with tools so that they can expand the ability to remain in constant conscious contact with Christ.
And grace. That's awesome.
I know that I've received that. And if you're receiving those abundance blessings, then we'd love to hear stories, even just about how perfect provision has entered your life and, how it came about. Because modern day miracles are happening all the time. We just want to be a channel where people get excited about sharing it because the rising tide. Pretty awesome, brother.
Yes, it is. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining today.
Yeah. And one last plug. If all you wanted to do was tell us what time and day works best for you, we can definitely make an effort to reach out and connect with you on a private podcast.
Yeah, and that again, I almost forgot. We got an email. The best way to contact is just ChristTruthReveal, one word, at gmail.com. And it will be anonymous.
You can also find that under the show notes or under the profile I made.
It's on each published podcast. There's no place to really put it on there. It's on every published podcast.
Well, right on.
Okay. All right. Have a good evening.
Be blessed. We'll talk.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Later.